Before I tell you what happened next, before I show you how one small act of kindness changed 2 lives forever, you need to understand something about the place where this story begins. There was a country, small, forgotten by most of the world, where soldiers were treated like gods, until they bled. You see, in this place, they believed only the weak got wounded. Only the failures came home broken. So when a soldier fell in battle, he wasn't honored. He was erased. And on a dirt road, miles from anywhere that mattered, one such soldier was about to learn this the hardest way possible. But he wasn't alone. Someone was watching. Someone no one would ever expect. A girl. Barefoot. Hungry. Invisible to the world. And what she was about to do would cost her everything. Drop a comment, what would you do if you found someone dying on the road? The girl didn't have a name that mattered to anyone. Not anymore. Her father died when she was 7. Her mother, gone a year later with her 2 other children. Now, at 15, she lived in the margins, sleeping in abandoned sheds, eating what she could find, invisible to a world that had no use for poor children. But she had something most people lost long time ago. Her eyes, her heart. She still looked and still feels. Of course, most people walked past suffering people. They had groceries to buy, jobs to get to, lives that mattered. But when you have nothing, you see everything. And that morning, as the sun barely broke over the hills, she saw him. A soldier. Face down in the dirt. His uniform, once crisp and decorated, now torn and soaked with blood. His leg, twisted at an angle that made her stomach turn. She froze. Every instinct screamed, keep walking. This isn't your problem. Soldiers have people. Soldiers have hospitals. Moreover, it was a punishable act in this country to help a dying soldier. You are nothing and have nothing. But then, he moved. Soft gasp sound effect. Just barely. His fingers clawed at the dirt, reaching for something, anything, to hold on to. And she heard it. Barely a whisper. Help. Should she run? She asked herself. In this country, getting involved with a wounded soldier was dangerous. If he died, you'd be blamed. If he lived, he'd be labeled a coward, and so would anyone who helped him. But the girl, she didn't think about any of that. She thought about the last time someone walked past her when she was hungry. When she was cold. When she needed help. She thought about how that felt. So she knelt down beside him. His eyes opened. Just barely. Bloodshot. Filled with pain. And something else. Shame. Leave me, he whispered. His voice was rough, broken. I'm already dead. She didn't move. You're breathing, she said quietly. Dead people don't breathe. He tried to laugh, but it came out as a cough. Blood flecked his lips. In this country, a wounded soldier is dead. They won't take me back. They'll leave me here to rot. She looked at his leg. At the gash across his side. At the fever already burning in his eyes. Then I guess it's good I'm not them, she said. And before he could protest, before he could tell her to save herself, she hooked her thin arms under his shoulders and pulled. It's not like the movies. There's no heroic music. No sudden burst of strength. Just pain. Sweat. The burning in your muscles as you drag dead weight inch by inch. She pulled him to the only place she knew. An old storage shed behind a closed-down market. It smelled like rotten rust, but it had a roof. 4 walls. A door she could lock. It was more than she usually had. She laid him on a pile of old canvas tarps. He had passed out halfway through the journey, maybe from pain, maybe from shock. She didn't know. What she did know is that he was burning up. She had seen fever before. Seen it take her brother. She knew what came next if it wasn't stopped. But she had no medicine. No bandages. No clean water. She had a rusty bucket. A torn piece of fabric. And a pump 3 blocks away that sometimes worked. So she ran. For 3 days, the world didn't know where the soldier went. For 3 days, the military searched for his body not to save him, but to bury the evidence. A wounded officer was bad for morale. Bad for the country's image. Better to say he died a hero than admit he was human. But in that shed, hidden from everyone, the girl fought for him. She cleaned his wounds with water she boiled over a fire made from trash. She tore her only blanket into strips to wrap his leg. She held him down when the fever made him thrash, whispering things her mother once whispered to her. "You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Just hold on." And on the third night, his eyes opened. Really opened. He stared at the ceiling. Then at her. His face was pale, his lips cracked, but he was awake. "You're still here," he whispered. She didn't smile. She was too tired. "Where else would I be?" He looked around the shed. At the makeshift bandages. At the bucket of water. At her hands covered in blisters and cuts. You saved me." "Not yet," she said quietly. "You still have to decide if you want to live." He stared at her. This girl, this child who had nothing and gave everything. "Why?" he asked. His voice cracked. "Why would you do this?" She met his eyes. "Because everyone deserves a chance to heal." Healing isn't fast. It's not a montage. It's not a week of rest and then you're fine. It's ugly. It's slow. It's painful. And it's quiet. The soldier, let's call him what he is. A man who had forgotten how to be human, learned this the hard way. His leg wouldn't hold his weight. His ribs ached with every breath. And the shame was heavier than any wound. But the girl, she didn't care about any of that. She brought him food she stole from market trash bins. She changed his bandages. She sat with him in silence when the pain was too much for words. And slowly, something shifted. One evening, as the sun set through the cracks in the shed, he finally spoke. "What's your name?" She paused. No one had asked her that in years. "Does it matter?" "It does to me." She told him. A simple name. The one her mother gave her. The one she thought the world had forgotten. He repeated it. Slowly. Like he was memorizing something sacred. "Thank you," he said. "For what?" She replied. "For seeing me. Not the uniform. Not the soldier. Just me." She didn't respond. But her eyes said everything. "You're welcome." Weeks passed. He grew stronger. Started walking limping at first, then steadier. His wounds closed. His fever broke. But something else was happening. He started noticing things. The way she never took food until he'd eaten first. The way she shivered at night but gave him the blanket. The way her hands shook from exhaustion, but she never complained. She was dying to save him. One night, he confronted her. "When did you last eat? A real meal?" "I'm fine." "You're not. Look at your skin turning to bones. You can't keep doing this." "I'll manage." "Why?" His voice broke. "Why are you killing yourself for me?" She looked at him. "Because you would have done the same." He froze. "You don't know that." "Yes, I do. I see it in you. You're a good man who got hurt. And good people, they're too rare to let die." He felt something crack inside him. Something that had been frozen for years. "I don't deserve you," he said. She smiled. "Just a little," she responded. "Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway." But the world doesn't let you hide forever. And secrets, they always find the light. It started with a rumor. Someone saw smoke from the shed. Someone heard voices. And in a country where information was currency, rumors spread fast. The military started asking questions. Who was in that shed? Why was it locked? What were they hiding? And then, someone talked. A merchant. A man who saw the girl carrying water. Who watched her sneak food. Who put the pieces together. Wounded soldier. Hidden girl. Treason. The military came at dawn. She heard the trucks before she saw them. Heavy. Rumbling. Unstoppable. Her heart stopped. "They're here," she whispered. The soldier's eyes went wide. He tried to stand, but his leg buckled. "Run," he said. "You have to run. If they find you with me." "I'm not leaving you," she said almost immediately. "You have to. They'll arrest you. They'll say you're a traitor. You'll lose your life." She looked at him. Tears in her eyes. "I have nothing. The only thing I can't lose is knowing I did the right thing." The doors burst open. 6 soldiers. Guns raised. Faces hard. And in the middle, an officer. Older. Decorated. Cold. He looked at the wounded soldier. Then at the girl. "So the rumors are true. A deserter. And his accomplice." "I'm not a deserter," the soldier said through gritted teeth. "I was wounded in battle." Silence. The officer's voice was ice. "In this country, the wounded are the disgraced. You know the law." The officer turned to the girl. "And you? Hiding a traitor. Aiding an enemy of the state." "He's not an enemy," she said. Her voice shook, but she didn't back down. "He's a human being." The officer smiled. It wasn't kind. Human beings follow orders. This creature failed his duty. And you helped him. That makes you just as guilty. He raised his hand. The soldiers moved forward. But then, the wounded soldier stood. Pain shot through his leg, but he didn't fall. He stepped in front of the girl. "Take me. Punish me. But leave her alone. She's innocent." The officer laughed. "Innocent? She's a street rat. And nothing. No one will even notice she's gone." And that's when something inside the soldier snapped. You ever notice how the quietest people are the most dangerous when pushed? The soldier looked at the officer. And for the first time in weeks, he didn't see shame when he looked at himself. He saw purpose. "You want to know why I got wounded?" he said quietly. The officer raised an eyebrow. "I got wounded because I stayed behind. Because my unit left civilians to die, and I couldn't. I pulled 12 people out of a burning building while my brothers in arms fled. I got wounded because I chose humanity over orders. And if that makes me weak, then I'll die weak." The shed went silent. The officer's jaw tightened. "You just confessed to insubordination." "I confessed to being human." The officer stepped forward. His hand went to his pistol. "Then you'll die like one." Sound of gun being drawn was heard. The girl screamed. Everywhere was silent for 3 seconds. What happens next will change everything. Will the soldier survive? Will the girl pay the ultimate price for her kindness? And who is really in control here? The answer is in part 2. If you need to know what happened next, and trust me, you do, part 2 is ready for you. The link is in the description. But before you go, drop a comment. Tell me, would you sacrifice everything for a stranger? Because what happened next will test that question in ways you can't imagine.